What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey, and actually more specifically, welcome back to the $8 range. So I want to go over some of the data points, what the latest updates are, and where things might be going. Before I get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. With that said, let's get right to it. So currently it is up 4.54%. Huge amount of momentum being had today, and there's a lot of volume getting in as well. So a lot of eyes are on Lucid. So within the first 2 hours of the trading day, almost 29 million shares being traded. 60 is the average, so definitely going to surpass the average today. But more specifically, looking on the actual chart, we already do know in Lucid's case, when it does get over that 50-day moving average for 2 consecutive days or more, it generally goes on a very, very big run, especially ever since I think 2021. It's only surpassed and stayed above this 50-day moving average, I think 2, maybe 3 times. And when it does, it goes on at least a 50% plus run from there. So potentially, it can go up to maybe the double digits. Of course, that's just throwing that out there. I'm not a financial advisor. You guys always do your own due diligence. And just to put it in perspective as well, it does look like, based on Bazinga, it's just a little bit more of a continuation of strength that's within the EV market. That's one of the reasons why Lucid and a lot of the other EVs are going up. Because at the time of doing this video, there isn't any news, no press releases, nothing along those lines. So it's just a little bit more of a FOMO. But some positive things are coming out, unofficial though, but it does look like Sultan did post this about the whole Saudi Arabia facility. Behind the scenes is clearly all coming together, and there's been several of these. And this looks like this was posted, or I guess done, on July the 7th, 2023. So I think in general a lot of big things are coming. But like I mentioned as well, just to put it in perspective, even though Lucid has gone up quite a lot over the last little bit, based on the latest Morningstar report, it does have the fair market value of Lucid being at $9.32. So let me know you guys' thoughts on that. As far as some data points, I'll go over all the things that you need to know. So starting with this, there's currently $5.7 million in calls being purchased. That is huge. 1.7 million inputs, so very much oriented towards up. So a lot of people are anticipating for Lucid to continue this trend. Similar, like I mentioned, about it just getting over that 50-day moving average. This is where people are just flicking the light and everyone is now bullish. So it's kind of weird, but still, let me know you guys' thoughts on that. As far as this, so this shows all the grid, the call options, the expiry date, strike prices. It is anticipated to be between the $8.50 and $9 range this and next week. When it comes down to options activity though, this is just merely a sentiment. Someone buying a call does not move the stock price. So once again, just be aware of that. As far as big money getting in, so these are all the transactions that have occurred so far on the secondary market, over $100,000. So there was a $2.99 million transaction first thing. Majority of these are actually buys as well, so pretty good in that regard. And even over the last several days, there's been a lot of big ones. So 9.99 million, looks like 4.24 million, but still I think the frequency has gone up. So the number of transactions as well has definitely gone up a lot. And looking here, these are all the transactions that have occurred today so far on the dark pool. A lot of people don't like the dark pool, very much linked to shorting. So I'll give you guys a quick overview of what shorts are doing. So right now, let's just pop over here. So right now the short score is currently 75, utilization is 73.75%. And you can kind of tell just by me scraping off all this crap. This chart right here shows the short interest. So it did go down a little bit, but ever since it started to rally, you can see that shorts have gotten in quite a lot. So they're very doubtful about this whole rally. What's your guys' take on that? But right now, shorts are increasing 2.03 million shares, which once again does kind of validate that they are not believing in Lucid going up. They do not think that it should be at the $8 range, but we will ultimately find out. There is manipulation happening behind the scenes because you can tell cost to borrow minimum is negative 0.2. So there is a broker out there physically paying people to short Lucid. So let me know you guys' thoughts. Cost to borrow average though is just complete penny, so 1.05%. 19.75% of the free float is being shorted, so that's pretty significant, and that works out to be $160 161.52 million shares overall are being shorted. So what is your take on Lucid? Do you think that this is overvalued? Because looking at the PS ratio right now, the current one is 25.7, the future is 15.2, which in comparison to, for instance, Rivian is 10.8 versus 4.8. The only difference between the two, I do feel that at least in the short term and more specifically the next 12 months, there is a lot more expected of Lucid rather than Rivian. But of course, that's just my own interpretation of that. So let me know you guys' thoughts on these ratios. But at the time of doing this video, it is currently on the fib levels between this R2 and the R3. So the next big resistance is $8.23. $7.57 is that next big support. So once again, just be kind of aware of that. So most likely it's going to continue to be very volatile, similar to what is happening today. So the low being 787, high being 831. But I do feel that it does have a little bit more to get over this R3. And actually it looks like it is over the R3. So ignore what I'm saying, but most likely I do feel that it's going to get dragged back down, most likely into this 823. So once again, let me know you guys' thoughts on all of that. But as far as looking at some of these indicators, looking at the momentum indicator shows number of retail investors are just completely getting in. And my last couple Lucid videos have said the exact same thing, that it's kind of odd. You've not really ever seen it happen at the same time in sync. So you are seeing retail getting in and also big money at the same time. So kind of weird, but who knows? Maybe a lot of people are starting to realize that Lucid is at a substantial discount and they are doing exactly what they say they are going to be doing. And what they said in Q2, which of course has surpassed and kind of locked in now, is technically that they're going to be doing all the international deliveries. And there's been a ton of videos on an international scale, even from Switzerland and all over, saying that Lucid vehicles have been delivered and various things. So I think in reality, that's a very positive sign. And of course, the next step for investors to really look forward to is the transition into phase 2 at the Arizona facility, so the AMP facility. Let me know you guys' thoughts on that. As far as stochastic goes, it is currently at 96, so a little bit more overbought potentially. Even though it does have a nice bull sentiment behind the scenes, I do feel it does need to pull back and consolidate back into this 823 range. But of course, there's a lot of FOMO, a lot of good positive momentum being had behind the scenes, clearly not necessarily just with Lucid, but the whole broader market as well. So what is your take on Lucid? Are you a buyer at these prices? Are you selling? What is your guys' take on Lucid? And as well, I do feel, at least in the short term, they're going to be announcing most likely next week their actual earnings, and which technically probably will be the first week of August. And then a couple of weeks prior to that is typically what they do. They announce their production and delivery numbers for Q2. So I do feel that the numbers that they're about to post or unveil will be very shocking. So I do feel that it'll be around the 2,500 at least for production, and most likely at least 2,800 for deliveries. So I actually do feel that the deliveries will surpass and be higher than the production, largely because of all the vehicles that have been sitting around at that AMP facility that have been waiting for international deliveries. They've actually done that. So once again, that's just my own take on that. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo, link in the description below and also the comments. It's been extended up until July the 15th. Sign up for a free account, you get 1 free stock. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Throw $100 at the account, you get 5 free stocks plus a $100 cash reward. So it's a win-win in my opinion. And like I said, link in the description below and also the comments. With that said, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.